Okay, make sure everyone understands that we're taping. Here we go. Okay. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
So we're gonna deal with what happens when you have adversity in life. And we know that if you get fooled by this internet, if you get fooled by Facebookery and about social media and even sometimes friends and family, it would be easy to postulate that, man, everybody's doing good but me. Everybody is just, how they said, uh, living your best life and you only live once and all these acronyms that everybody throws around. And if you're not careful, you would think that nobody has adversity, and then you feel very lonely and maybe not even know where to turn, what to do next when you do have that adversity. Well, we got to know that we call it we call it the virtual world for a reason. It's not real, and everybody everybody is going through something, or maybe they just came out of something, or they're about to go into something. We don't get to travail this life without having our own cross to bear. So then the question shouldn't be if we run into trouble, how we handle it. It's when we run into trouble, how do we bounce back? How do we have some resilience juice, if you will, some special elixir, some special power that we can have resilience and bounce back? We have a spiritual answer, many spiritual answers, many spiritual answers. The Bible is replete with stories of resilience from Esther to Joseph, all the way to Jesus, of course, and then to New Christendom. This is going to land on the book of James. It's the early Christian church, and James is describing what do we need to do to have resilience. With that as a backdrop, can I get someone to read James 1 and 1 through 10, right at the beginning of James?
James, first chapter, first verse. James, servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting.
Nice salutations. This is he talks about those 12 tribes. Of course, he's talking about the 12 tribes of Israel and the new Christian church, and that greeting is for us too as well. So what does our good brother James say to us? Verse 2.
My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations.
Count it joy when you fall into a challenge. Let me get a different, I don't know, Burl, you got a different, like NIV or a different interpretation of that 1, 2, James 1 and 2?
Yeah, let me get it.
James starts right out the bat, and he says to get into a deep funk, anxiety-riddled depression if you're met with an adversity. Is that what he said, Yvonne?
That's not what he said.
He said, pace the floors up and down as a teenager when you failed that test and fall up in the corner and suck your thumb and just wish for the Grim Reaper is what James said, right, Jared?
Nope.
No.
You want that?
He said something quite different. Go ahead, Verl.
Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds.
Mm. He's introducing something that we have to explore this, because this is certainly spiritual. This is not man's way. This is something different. Consider it joy when you meet with all kinds of different trials. How? What in the world are you talking about, Brother James? We're gonna be with you because we know you're brother of Christ. We know you're right there with him. We know you're the beloved brother. So we're gonna have a bent ear towards you. But man, this is a totally different start. Go right ahead, Yvonne.
All right, picking up from the NIV version, verse 3, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance.
Oh. So my engineering mind, Chase, so engineering mind, what produces perseverance, Chase? Is Chase in there?
Yep, yeah. He's thinking.
I would say like, keep going after like multiple attempts.
Spiritually, thanks for the commentary, but I want to challenge you a little bit further, young brother Chase. Biblically, spiritually, it's right there in that verse.
Trials of many
and
kinds.
Then go a little deeper in the same verse. That you mind read the verse again?
Because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance.
So what produces perseverance?
The testing of your faith.
The testing of your faith. The testing of your faith. I don't want us to miss this, because it's not as easy to miss, because now we went right into the spiritual. We went right into the spiritual when we're talking about faith. And we know that faith is all about it's about walking by sight, right? Faith is walking by sight. It's that
No.
Missouri, you got to show me for me to believe it. That's what faith is.
No. We walk by faith, not by sight.
We walk by faith and not by sight. Faith being the evidence, things unseen. So then, to the extent that our faith is tried, this is how we get that comeback juice, if you will, that resilience. And here in this translation, I believe they call it perseverance. But it's all the same thing, this ability to snap back. I called on you, Chase, because of your engineering mind, and when I read this, it is as if it is a factory that's putting out this special elixir, call this elixir comeback juice. And the key component of this production of this elixir is faith being tried. So this is a doubling down of what James said in the second verse. Why should we count it joy? Well, because you're going to get extra perseverance from the trying of your faith. So you should count it joy whenever you're met with a trial. You see that? Am I still in the Bible there? You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So let me ask it this way. So if we want to have more resilience, what do we need more of?
Test.
More tests. And then we get more faith, and then we get more tests, and then we get more faith, and then we get more tests, and then we get more faith. And all the while, we're getting more resilience. We're getting more resilient. We have more ability to bounce back. We've seen this before. We know this before. We've been through this before. This ain't nothing new for us. We have confidence. We can get through this. I've gotten through this before. You see how I think of it in an engineering as a machine type of way, bro. It has to work. You feed this machine faith. It's got to produce resilience. You keep having more resilience, keeps snapping back. You're gonna have more faith. It's just a constant. What do they call that thing that we all mechanical engineers are trying to build all the time? That not constant velocity machine. What do you call that machine? I'm drawing a blank.
I forget.
Perpetual.
Perpetual. Thank you. Yeah, we're all looking for this perpetual machine that just keeps running and running and running. And what James describes is a perpetual bounce back machine. Here, keep going.
Verse 4, let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything.
Just keeps running. You got to keep building this maturity, keep building it up, keep letting this machine just chug it, 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 chug it. And it's just going to keep spitting out more and more comeback juice, more and more resilience. Just chug it, chug it, just keep chugging along, just keep chugging along. And it's going to just build you up, and you're going to be more and more mature. Go ahead.
If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you.
So then he snaps. So we out of perseverance, now we come to wisdom. So it'll appear that James is telling us. So since he started talking about perseverance and faith now, so we got to have some wisdom to go along with that. And the beauty of it is, if we're lacking in wisdom, the perfect application of knowledge, if we're lacking in that, then we just have to ask God. It's so simple. If you're lacking it, just ask God. Which in turn builds our resilience. Go ahead.
But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind.
We don't want to be no wishy-washy Christians. We want to have faith along with our asking. It's a way to ask for something. So we're talking about teen boys here. So just imagine when you ask, Jade, and just imagine when you ask mommy for something, if you ask it as if you don't think she can supply it. Can you see how that would be demotivating for mommy?
What you say, Dada?
Like, say you wanted something, you wanted mommy to make your favorite dish, wanted mommy to make spot queenie, right?
Yep. Or his
let's say
Alfredo shrimp. That's what he liked.
All right, Alfredo shrimp. Shrimp Alfredo, or everybody else say shrimp Alfredo, but okay. Alfredo shrimp. But what if all right, model the behavior, Jay. Ask it as if you think mommy can't do it. Be an actor right now and just ask it as if mommy don't know how to cook, mommy never made it before, she'll never produce it. Ask it like that.
Are you able to make shrimp Alfredo?
Maybe.
I like you said, are you able to? That's good. That's already, that's leaving some room for doubt that she can't make it. And that little bit of doubt can cause you not to receive what you want to receive. Now ask it how you ask it, because you know she can make it. Ask it how you do ask her.
And Mom, I would appreciate it if you made shrimp Alfredo.
Not a problem, Spady.
I don't know
That
if he
ain't how
asked
you
it.
No, I'd rather get, you don't want me to use the word cancer.
Oh, that's why you said I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good model. So one, it was, can you make it? And then the second was mommy, I appreciate it if you make it. I have every confidence that you can make it, and I would appreciate it if you do so. These are two different ways to ask. And so why are we doing this? So we're modeling the behavior of faith. One is very faithful in how we should go to God. To go back to this verse, we should go to God with much faith in when we ask him for wisdom and knowledge, understanding, and anything else that we ask him for. We should go to it knowing that he can supply it. That's the bottom line, the faith component. James is hammering the hammer of faith again. All right, go ahead. Verse can
7.
You say the verse you're on, and then, yep, thank you.
That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord.
God is moved by our faith, quite simply. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do.
Everything that they do. That's interesting. I mean, if you can't have faith in God to supply your needs, it would. I agree with James here. I'm exploring this thought that, I mean, this is a notable accusation that James is making. James is making a leap that says that if you can't ask God right, then you wishy-washy in everything.
Yeah.
If you can't have a modicum of faith as you approach God with your request, then this doesn't indicate that you're just wishy-washy with prayer. You're wishy-washy with everything. I agree with that. Like if we can't keep it real with God, we can't be faithful with God that God can supply, then man. Yeah, I just have to agree with that. And then back to the resilience. So then how can one be resilient without this faith machine at work, without this wisdom machine from God at work? Go ahead.
Verse 9. Believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position.
Nina, let's get another interpretation on that one.
King James
Anybody got
Version says, let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted.
I did do it. I think it was the Amplified that brought the best light for me anyway.
The Amplified verse 9, let the brother in humble circumstances glory in his high position as a born again believer called to the true riches and to be an heir of God.
Yeah, we needed that. I needed that anyway. I needed that translation. Because it's not, the NIV could have us lean to a selfish pride, and then the King James could have us with too much humility, and I don't think that was the aim here. The aim is to have pride, but this is a godly pride for the gifts that God has given us. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
We just want to make that distinction, because pride and self, just pride for pride's sake and selfish pride, that's vanity, that's vainglorious. We don't want that.
Right.
Said differently, and I want to press the point also, when in the King James Version, when we lean too much on humility, we don't want that either, because there are times when we should assert ourselves. We should be proud of the gifts that God has given us. And that was something this was an awakening for me when it comes to the gifts of God. It's not me. I'm not bragging for me. I'm bragging on God. This is God's shining his light on me. I'm just reflecting that light back. So when we think of it like that, then we can, I think from there, that can be the source of the pride. And that's what we're talking about, a godly pride, a pride that is from the perspective of God shining on us and not from us laterally, if you will,
Hey,
from
Carlos.
our own works. Hey, is that Mother Dear on the phone? Hey, Ma.
Hey, Carlos. Grandma's here too.
Grandma on the phone too.
Yeah, Grandma's on the phone too. But Carlos, that verse 9, the Message puts it this way: when
Okay.
down and outers get a break, cheer. So when the underdog, or when the down and outers, we should all be cheering when the down and outers, are those who are lowly, when they get a break, then we should all be cheering.
See that? That's a wonderful thing, Ma. Yeah, that, knowing what I know. So you got it right. So we always talk about context, right? So this is James. Mm-hmm. James loves his fellow Christians. James is always talking about my beloved Christians. He just loves his fellow Christians. And so, yeah, that makes a lot more sense, Ma, that James would write. We should be
cheering when the down and outers. And then he also says in the Message, and when the arrogant rich are brought down to size, we should also cheer.
There we go.
Okay.
That's the balance.
Yeah.
That's the balance we were trying to strike. Thanks for that, Ma. Yeah, we should always be, as Christians, we tend to be the underdog. So we should always understand and rally for the plight of the underdog. Conversely, and the balance is, we should, when folks are like just vanity for vanity's sake, that should kind of stir us the wrong way when people are just braggadocious for no reason, just for, without a mission. Let's just say that it's like money over the mission type of person. That's what I want. That's what I'm trying to say.
And I know who's coming into your mind.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna bring it up here. But yeah, there's some prominent features right now, prominent folks in the media that we're bombarded with. That to me, it appears that it's money over the mission. I won't say it in here because I don't know for sure yet. So we will see. All right, go ahead.
Verse 10 from the Amplified. And the rich man is to glory in being humbled by trials revealing human frailty, knowing true riches are found in the grace of God. For like the flower of the grass, he will pass away.
Very instructive. Nothing wrong with being rich. He's not saying don't be wealthy. That's not what he's saying there. He's saying in your striving, in your achieving wealth, you better have a healthy dose of godly humility. Because after all, you going back to the dust and all that money going back to the dust too. Don't get it wrong. There was one translation that talked about how the sun rises and causes the flowers to wither. So, all right. So all of this is a peek into how to be resilient, wisdom, faith, and these trials that come upon us. Let it be known that I don't care what people are saying on Facebook, what people are saying on social media, what people are saying in between classes. Folks are going through stuff, or they went through stuff, or they're about to go through stuff. You just realize that this is a way that when you do go through something, here are some tools to use, some spiritual tools. First of all, count it joy that you're being tested, and know that the more you're tested, the more you have an opportunity to build your faith. The more you build your faith, the more resilience you're going to get, and you're going to add wisdom to that as well. And then from this wisdom, should you develop wealth, understand that don't ever have money be over your mission. The mission is first. It's all about God and God's kingdom first, and then you'll be fine. And that's those verses in a nutshell. Any discussion points on that? Because with that, we're going to move right into the book, the survival guide, and we're going to look at some practical reasons for the spiritual lessons that we just learned. All right, go ahead and go to chapter 6 in the survival guide. Chapter 6, please, in your survival guide.
Man, I don't know what just happened, but your face just flipped 90 degrees
Okay.
on the
Thank you, dear.
screen. You will.
All right. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to share here. Share screen. My first time sharing the screen from the phone, so let's see how this works. All right, can y'all see chapter 6?
Yep.
All right. Something weird. All right, chapter 6, develop resilience. Okay, can you begin reading at the top of that chapter 6, Jay?
All right. Develop resilience. For young people, it's crucial to have the capacity to adjust successfully to challenging circumstances. The bright side is that developing resilience is a learnable ability. Television and social make media, I believe, make growing up seem so simple. Everyone looks like they're having fun, hanging out with their buddies, and dressing appropriately.
He wants to say social media there, so just add media after social media.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you're an adolescent, you are aware of how difficult life can be at times. Bullying to the passing of a parent or acquaintance is just a few of the issues you could experience.
So that's good that the author talks about some real. Listen, let it be known that that adolescents go through real problems. And I think sometimes we may get it wrong as adults that since they're young people, they go through young problems. It's not always the hand that they're dealt. Sometimes young people go through quite mature and quite robust problems. Death of a loved one, anxiety, depression, bullying, sexual abuse, alcoholism, drug abuse. I mean, it's the gamut. So let's let's make sure that we have a servant's heart, that we can, first of all, be aware that this is happening to our young people, and then help them with an answer. All right, go ahead, Jay.
Why is that specific individuals can go through such difficult situations and get recovered? The distinction is that individuals who recover do so by exercising resilience.
Resilience. The other word in the Bible, the word that's used is perseverance, I believe, but it's the same thing. Okay, go ahead.
The best part is that you can gain resilience abilities. You can gain resilience abilities. They are not something you either have or don't. Some individuals seem to have bounce, whilst others don't, due to resilience, which is the capacity to adapt successfully in the face of adversity, such as difficult circumstances, catastrophes such as earthquakes, hurricanes, fires, dangers, or even severe stress.
So there's the definition. What's the definition again? Go ahead, Jaden. Which after that comma, well, go to due to resilience and read the definition one more time.
Is that like the last paragraph?
Do you see it's in the middle of the last paragraph, due to resilience?
Oh, okay, yes. Due to resilience, which is the capacity to adapt successfully in the face of adversity, such as difficult circumstances.
That's all I wanted. I'm sorry. That's all I wanted. Resilience is the capacity to adapt successfully in the face of adversity. There's your what for what are we talking about when we say resilience? What do we mean? You got to first define it before we can figure out how to how to add more to it and how to overcome adversity. So that's good. All right, thanks for that. Now I want you to skip down to the last paragraph before the 7 pillars. Jay.
All right. Research has revealed that although resilience may appear to come quickly to certain individuals, it is also possible to acquire these characteristics. Building resilience is essential whether or not you're currently going through a difficult period or want to be ready for problems in the future.
Good. Now, let's go to the 7 pillars. We got 7 C's of resilience. 7 C's of resilience. Let's start, Jared, with the first C.
Jared is like in the kitchen right now.
All right. Is Chase in there?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Chase, with the first C.
Confident young individuals will believe that they will eventually achieve and will be more inclined to take risks necessary to understand themselves. They can be more motivated to succeed and less afraid of failing.
All right, Chase. It's good that you got confidence because you do not lack in this. You have confidence. Now read it confidently. Do another read of it, but read it this time with confidence, since you already know what words are coming now. Start with confidence.
Confident young individuals will believe that they will eventually achieve and will be more inclined to take risks necessary to understand themselves.
Go ahead.
They can be more motivated to succeed and less afraid of failing. More importantly, they'll bounce back from failure, viewing it as a chance for development rather than disaster.
Isn't that interesting? So here we go. I don't know if the author read James' first chapter, but boy, doesn't that look like that bounce back juice machine that we talked about is right there. The trying of your faith builds resilience. Is right there. They could be more motivated to succeed and less afraid of failing. More importantly, they'll bounce back from failure, viewing it as a chance for development rather than a disaster. They are counting it joy. It's a chance for them to develop. This is not disaster. And this is what having confidence brings. And I'll say this, faith brings on that confidence the more faith you have that you are, as Grandma always says, we're fighting from victory, not for victory. So we already know we got the victory. We have every right to be confident.
Mhm.
All right, now let's go to competence. Because being confident without knowing anything, without having wisdom, is just it's just somebody just yapping, being a blowhard. All right, go ahead with competence, Jaden.
All right. Competence. For teen boys to be equipped to survive in the world, they need to have practical skill sets. These include academic skills, peer negotiation, and conflict resolution skills, self-advocacy skills, and communication skills. If teen boys want to make the kinds of decisions that will benefit rather than harm their health and well-being, they additionally require to be able to make responsible decisions.
I like this a lot as far as this competence. And what I highlighted was self-advocacy skills. What, Jaden? What's self-advocacy skills? What's that?
Advocating for yourself,
Marketing yourself.
Jared said marketing yourself.
Marketing yourself. Hey, welcome back, Jerry. We missed you, man. Don't you should not define the word with the word. So give me what self-advocacy means, Jay.
I think Jared defined it well. He said marketing yourself.
It's marketing yourself. It's something more than that though.
Like putting your
Respecting yourself.
There's an element of respect. There's an element to it, young men, of I am not going to accept less than this. There's a certain level of respect that I deserve, and I'm not I'm not gonna have any less. I'm laughing because you young men, y'all do it well. I mean, you do it well. I would challenge you to do it more. I would challenge you to do it more with your coaches and your teachers, and not in a well, just the way you do it with me and mommy. I mean, in a respectable way. But you get to have your point across, and you get to have a certain level of respect for your activities. How's it going over there? Hey, Vero, are the young ladies there?
They are not. They've already gone in.
That's all
You
right.
missed them by a minute.
That's okay. How are they with self-advocacy?
Olivia is not a problem. Avery, we're working on it. Now, if push comes to shove, Avery has a very strong voice, but sometimes she assumes the best in other people and might not say as much as what she should.
Yeah, that's so. I didn't, I'm asking because I really don't know, but what I do know is that as we're moving from adolescence to adulthood, we tend to, rightfully so, from the families that we were born into, we really respect authority. And then something happens in high school, be it a coach, be it a teacher, some adult, or maybe, God help us, maybe even a parent, but something happens where an adult doesn't behave in the manner that they should towards us. And it's tough to be a self-advocate. It's tough to come out of I'm a child that just, we eat up whatever the adult feeds us to, well, no, that's disrespectful. You shouldn't speak to me that way. You know what I mean, Vero?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I like that he put. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, I was wondering, like, in what way, how could I confront a teacher or a coach that's being disrespectful with with me still maintaining like respect for them?
Well, you do it so well with me, son. I mean, I think think about the times when you felt like your dad didn't handle you right. You do it masterfully with me. Of all of my sons, you're probably the best at it. Sometimes Jared runs a little too hot, but he comes back and apologizes. Chase can run a little too hot too. We're just having man talk, right? Just the reality of it. Jaden, you have an excellent way of in the moment, very placidly saying things that you've said to me, like that I don't like it when you speak to me that way. That's very disarming to an adult, because it's not disrespectful at all. All it's saying is you don't like the way I'm treating you, and that makes me as an adult, as a human being, I got to deal with that. You see what I mean?
But I'm wondering what if they take it as a form of disrespect when you say that?
That's a manhood check on them. That's a manhood check, a womanhood check on them. If you tell an adult, I'm not accustomed to being spoken to that way, or I don't appreciate the way you're speaking to me right now, and they take offense to it, that's on them, son. That's when you get me and mommy involved. That's when you get me and mommy involved now. But next year, you're gonna have to advocate for yourself and go to the provost, go to the dean. You know, you're gonna have to go up a level, because that's not disrespectful. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's when they have to check themselves. That person that you're talking to, and they teach. You know, once you get out of school and you're working a job, they teach you to get away from the you and all the accusatory words and make it personal.
Right.
I felt how they can't tell you how you should feel, and they're gonna have to deal with it. And what, quite frankly, what you'll find out is a lot of them aren't as mature as the credit that you're giving them. They need to figure that out, but that's not up to you. You just need to let them know that it is how you're perceiving their approach to you, and you're going to be A-okay.
Bless you, man.
Thank you.
You all right, Chase and Jared? I revealed a little bit about y'all. Y'all okay with that?
Nah, yeah, I'm chill. Yep.
All right.
At least I apologize. I'm like, Chase.
All right, oh, man. All right, God bless y'all, man. All right, let's go to connection.
Oh,
Jared, go to connection.
All righty. Connection. The human connection enables us to rejoice more thoroughly during happy occasions and heal through difficult ones. The most protective factor in your life is your relationship with people, founded on your understanding of who you are, or of who you are. Hopefully, you will establish this protective relationship in addition to many others. More is always better.
Yeah, I didn't. You see, I didn't highlight that one. I don't believe that. I think righteous relationship with the right people, right? Because we just did last year around this time, we did a series on boundaries. So, more relationship with someone who crosses boundaries and hurts you, you don't want more of that. You want more of folks in your life that are righteous, that are bringing you something that's positive, helping you to heal, as he said in the first paragraph, the ones that help you to heal through conflicts. And that, again, that's difficult to figure out, especially as adolescents. And adolescents, we tend to call everybody our friends. And I got a lot of grandma-isms today. But I remember, Grandma, you always said that your mother told you something like, "Baby, if you have 2 friends in life, that's a lot." Is that the right quote, Grandma?
Grandma.
No, my mother told me that.
That's what he said. He said, "Is it a correct?" What he said,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
He said yes. Did you hear it, Carlos?
I can hear it loud and clear.
I didn't realize grandma was there. When you were saying grandma, Miss Goldie, I thought you was referring to yourself in relation to the boobs.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go, you Bonnie.
Hey, grandma.
Hey, Bon. Y'all doing a great job.
She said, "Y'all, what Yvonne doing?" All right, go ahead, character.
That's all Carlos. I give him that credit.
Bon read scripture.
That's right.
Hold it
Yeah,
down
she
the
sure
home
did.
front.
She sure did, and that's why we about to talk about character. All right, go ahead, Chase. Chase on character.
Character. Young individuals who have solid fundamental beliefs are more likely to make significant contributions, feel more confident about themselves, and form more stable, loving relationships. Consider character traits as those qualities that guarantee we conduct ourselves morally, even when no one else is looking.
There you go.
People will with moral integrity are what the world needs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we always start with Christian-based morality, so we have that undergirding of morality. Contribution, Jay.
All right. Contribution. Teens want significance. They want to live lives that are meaningful and purposeful in the end. Giving teenagers a chance to change the world also gives them powerful self-defense mechanisms. They experience the delight of giving personally. It finally implies that individuals may get help from others without feeling guilty. Why? They'll realize that the individual standing by them is doing it out of compassion rather than sympathy. They receive appreciation through making a difference in other people's lives. Young people flourish in an environment that values gratitude above censure.
Yeah, what's censure? We're here to learn. If you don't know, it's okay.
Does it relate to the word censorship?
It does. So what is censorship?
It's hard for me to explain. I know what it is. This is hard for me to put into words right now.
You gonna draw us a picture for later?
Like safeguarding something that might be explicit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, usually we talk about censorship when something explicit is explicit. Here though, Jay, is more just not letting you have your say. It's not even that you're necessarily saying something that's negative or explicit. So it's going back to that advocacy thing. Kind of the question that you asked me, if you say to a professor next year, "Hey, look, I don't appreciate the way you're speaking to me," and then they say, "Well, now's not the time. Don't say anything to me." Like, they're trying to censor you. There's that's censure. They're trying to stop you from having a point of view. That's not right. You get to have a point of view, even as a young person, and that's what contribution is all about. We as adults, we have to value your contribution. Now, I'll quickly say though that so this doesn't mean that that your contribution is always necessary, right? In a crisis, sometimes it's better to just follow. You know, it's better to just follow because, well, I trust my dad. He's, you know, we're in the middle of a hurricane. Dad said to grab your clothes, get down steps, and let's leave. That's not the time to be, well, Dad, you're talking to me abruptly. I would rather for you to talk to me slowly. That's not really the right time for that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But just in regular course of day, I'm making these points because, man, hey, flip the calendar. This time next year, y'all gonna be in college. Right now, Aiden is in college, and I'm sure Aiden's probably going through some of this with his music professors. Look, I see the piece differently than you, and that's okay. All right, next, coping.
Coping. Making decisions is a part of life, and stress is an unpleasant reality that is also part of life. We make every effort to reduce stress, and we may choose to deal with our stress in either a good or bad way. Negative ones may be effective in the short term, but cause enormous long-term damage to ourselves and society. Resilience gives us the capacity to cope with stress.
Man, boy, that's so. I just keep hearing that Bible verse over and over. The better we increase our faith, and the better we're at counting it joy when we fall into diverse challenges, the better we're able to cope. Here is the word they use. Another word for coping is resilience, is that bounce back. Go ahead to control. Chase it. Control.
Control, understanding that your activities matter is essential to resilience. We are unable to feel hopeful without feeling of control, without a feeling of control. And in trying times, we crumble without hope.
And oh, that's beautiful. So that's that joy we were talking about. We can have hope. We can have joy even in the midst of a crisis because we fight from victory, not for victory. And because we just look at it as, look, this is just a trial of my faith. We're going to get through this one just like we've gotten through the other ones. We have control over this situation and we have control over ourselves. The next section in the book, the author does a great job of the how. So the first 7, I call it the what, and then the next 18 is the how around resilience. Not going to go through the 18. I'm going to entrust you to read the 18 about how you become more resilient. I'll just read some of the titles. Discover your purpose. Examples of purposes are as follows: assembling a network of close family friends, giving social movement advice, giving the social movement a voice, maintaining a fit lifestyle, creating music or art. Another how, have faith in your own skills. This is how you become more and more resilient. And then he gives some affirmative words. I can do this. I am a great friend, or I am good at my work. Third, establish a robust network of support. We know that trials are going to come. So let's get those folks in our corner that are going to be trustworthy and are going to help us through these trying times. 4, accepting the change. Changes come in life. Sometimes it's up to us. Sometimes resilience has to do with flexibility. Positivity. Count it joy, James said. We can have a positive outlook even in the middle of a conflict. 6, look after yourself. This is something that I struggle with. I tend to go to eating in the crisis, but this is something that of my sons, I got to give it to you, Chase. You're very disciplined when it comes to your workout regimen. God bless you with that, man. You and Zion are fantastic at that. this is something that's going to be good as far as your resilience, how to remain resilient. Well, when I go through a challenge, I go take a walk, or I go lift weights, or what's some other things you do when you work out, Chasey?
You could do like sports, like you could play basketball or like football, have some fun.
Yep, have some fun with it. God bless you. 7, master problem solving techniques. According to research, persons who have the capacity to solve difficulties have a tendency to handle stress more effectively. So you're looking at it from a scientific perspective, Verl, almost how we were trained in school. That okay, this is the problem statement. So we're not afraid of the problem statement. We're scientists. This is the problem statement. This is the data that we. This is the research that we had to do, and then here is the solution. So there you go. 8, set goals. It helps not to be mired down in the woods of what's happening today. The technique that I love is to look out 2 years from now, to look out 5 years from now. What does today look like? Today's problems, said differently, today's problems become so insignificant in the light of 5 years, 10 years, or a lifetime. And we can take ourselves mentally out of the problem that we're in by looking towards a future goal. Do something is number 9. Do something is where I think about Dr. W.B. Du Bois. He comes to the end of his life. He's thought a certain way and found out that he was wrong, and thought another way and found out that he was wrong. And now here he is, 90 some odd years old, and he just says, you know what, as it relates to those things in life that are a problem, can you just do something? Just do something. Don't just sit as a bump on the wall. Continue honing your skills. Don't give up in the middle of a struggle. Start honing those skills of patience, those skills of kindness. Be kind to yourself, number 11. This is very important. Sometimes you can get down when you're going through a challenge. It's very important to remember to be kind to yourself and to be kind to others. One important fruit of the Spirit to take with you during times of trouble is grace. Give yourself grace. It'll be all over in the morning. It's going to be all right. Or something else by way of self-talk that I tell myself and others is, everybody's trying to make it. 12, establish a hassle-free area. Hey. 12, get you a Queenie tea shed, get you a man cave, get you a closet, get somewhere that is yours, that is your carefree zone. 13, adhere to the plan. This would presuppose that you had a plan to begin with. So it's good to have a regimen, a way of doing things, so that when problems come, it's okay, I already had a plan for this. I already had a way when a hurricane comes. I already know I need to start running water in the tub, even though my wife doesn't know. Wait, remember you were like, why are you running water? Anyway. 14, rest and sleep. I must be late. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Rest and sleep well. Make sure you look after your physical, mental well-being. Exercise command. Here's one. You may progress towards your goals by taking baby steps, even when tragedy or extreme uncertainty is present. Consider what you have control over and what is out of your control. So that reminds me of the serenity prayer. That's one thing. You're going through a trouble. Look, you can't handle everything all at once. What is the thing that you can control? And it may be something as simple as I can wake up, I can get out this bed, and I can go take a bath, and I can go take a walk or something like that. Sometimes when you're going through a trial, that has to be good enough. Give yourself grace. Express your feelings. Don't ever get yourself into. Satan wants to make you be alone and wants to beat up on you by yourself. That's why it's good to have those coping mechanisms, those coping friends, that you can express your feelings to and with. Assist someone else. This helps me. Nothing helps you focus on addressing other people's issues more than your own. It helps me when I'm going through a trouble to help somebody else. And then 18, disconnect. You want to be informed. Perhaps your schoolwork involves watching the news, but occasionally the news can exacerbate a problem. You can be triggered. So you just got to know that. So sometimes when you're going through a trouble, instead of doing those same old habits of, I mean, we all have them, right? Watching TV or social media or whatever it is. Sometimes it'd be helpful to disconnect. And with that brings us to the end of the book. We did our 7 and we did our 18. We talked about what is resilience, and we talked about how to build more resilience, and we did it from a practical standpoint, and we did it from a spiritual standpoint. I am honored to have taught this to you. What questions do you have?
That.
I like you. Great lesson.
Yeah.
Bless you, sons.
I can show that my Halloween costume when we're done.
What's that?
Jared wants to show off his Halloween costume. That boy came down wearing his Halloween costume to Sunday school.
Oh, Lord.
Looking
All right,
crazy.
y'all have fun with it. All right, I'm going to get going because Penny's already called me. I think I'm late for our breakfast. God bless y'all. Love y'all.
All right,
Love
love
you,
y'all.
Danny.
Bye,
Good
lesson.
Leslie. Bye, Berlin.
All right.
Bye.
All right, love y'all.
Bye.
Have a blessed week.
You too, Bonnie.
Too.
All right.
All right.
All right. Catch you later.
That's the end of that story.